I came across my sister's page and saw that she was on a wheelchair. She was also in tears. According to her story, she'd gotten into an accident which almost claimed her life. She'd luckily survived, but would be needing surgery to help her walk again. She'd set up a GoFundMe, requesting help from people. I cried so much when I saw the video. My parents hadn't told me anything. I felt so abandoned and resolved to confront them when they returned home. You can imagine my shock when they walked into the house that night with my sister, who was looking completely fine. How are you walking well? In your video, you said you needed surgery to walk. What's going on?
Oh, shut up. If you dare say a word about this to anyone, I'll kill you myself.
I'm doing this to make Mom and Dad proud. I'm making them money. More than you'll ever make in your entire life.
If this information gets out of this house, I won't let your mother kill you. I'll do it myself.
I was scared, betrayed, shocked. Hey there. I'm Annie, 28 years old, and I've been living on my own since I turned 21. It was a decision I made after a particularly tough year following my 20th birthday, and looking back, I've never regretted it. From the very beginning, it was evident that I had a knack for academics. Teachers favored me for my diligence and quick understanding of lessons. I held on to my position as the top student with pride, but little did I know that it would soon become a source of isolation and pain. My elder sister, Stacy, was 2 years older but only one class ahead of me. When I got into senior high school, things took a sharp turn for the worse. My academic success made me a target for jealousy and resentment among my peers and sister as well. Because I often topped the class, my sister hated me for no reason. My peers shunned me, spoke ill of me behind my back, and refused to engage with me in any meaningful way. I vividly remember being the only student sitting alone in class, surrounded by an invisible wall of hostility and exclusion. You might wonder if my sister, being my closest companion at school, offered any support. Sadly, it was quite the opposite. My sister was stunningly beautiful, a fact that she never let me forget. Her looks drew attention and admiration effortlessly, making her the darling of our peers. From our early years in junior secondary school, she distanced herself from me. At first, I struggled with the rejection, hoping that family ties would prevail over popularity contests. Yet, as time passed, I grew accustomed to her indifference and the hurt it caused. By the time I entered high school, her behavior towards me had turned openly hostile. She joined in the taunts and mockery that I endured from others, using her influence to amplify the isolation I felt. Her betrayal cut me so deeply, leaving me grappling with a sense of abandonment and betrayal from someone I had once trusted implicitly. When we were little, my sister and I were best friends. She always liked it when we played together, and when our parents bought us matching clothes. She'd refuse to go anywhere if I wasn't going. My grandparents used to say we were inseparable siblings. You can understand my pain after her sudden change toward me. You would think she was different at home, but she was just the same. She would scream at me at the slightest provocation. She would even hit me for the littlest mistake and tell me how bad and unfortunate I was. Once, while my parents were away, I tried cooking something for us. I wanted to make her feel good, and maybe like me. Knowing she was a foodie, I opted to use food. Unfortunately for me, I wasn't a great cook. I tried, but the only good thing about the meal was the love and care I'd put into it. I was going to trash the food because I knew it wasn't good. But before I could do that, my sister caught me. In tears, I apologized to her and explained what I attempted to do. Against my wish, she tasted the food and smiled. She kept the food to show to my parents once they were home. I was so scared because we both knew my parents were against food wastage. I begged her in tears, but she refused to listen. She swore to make me pay for wasting food. When my parents returned home and heard about it, they were livid. I explained what my intentions were, but it was disregarded. My parents hit me. That was the first of the many times they hit me after believing my sister over me. With no one on my side, both at school and at home, I threw myself into my studies as a refuge, seeking solace in the pursuit of knowledge where judgment was based on merit, not popularity. Teachers continued to commend my efforts, but their praise offered little comfort in the face of relentless hatred from my peers. Outside of school, I found peace in my loneliness. Books became my constant companions. Finally, we graduated from high school. My parents had tried to get us matching outfits for graduation, but Stacy refused. According to her, we weren't kids, and her friends would mock her for that. I was willing to match with her. However, my opinion wasn't demanded. We ended up getting different outfits, and of course, my sister got the prettier one while I got a casual one. Graduation was over, and we got into college. Again, my sister's beauty got her more popularity. There weren't bullies in college. They liked me. They liked how brilliant I was and tried to associate with me. I guess seeing that angered my sister. She hated that I was getting attention, nearly as much as her. I suppose that was the reason she began running a YouTube channel. At first, her videos were fashion-oriented. She managed to gather quite a lot of subscribers as a result of her beauty and great fashion sense. She expanded to other social media platforms where she also gained recognition.
Watch out. I'm going to get so rich and no one will be interested in your stupid brain anymore.
She often boasted like that. Honestly, I wasn't interested in the popularity. All I wanted was to peacefully graduate college and get a job better than the part-time one I was doing. With the money she gained from social media after a year, my sister moved out of the house at age 22. She'd truly gotten rich. She got my parents a car and even helped renovate the house, excluding my room.
You could use your brain to get yourself money and make your room look better.
I felt bad, but I didn't dwell on it for long. I had done nothing to offend her, but I refused to hold grudges against her. I was never allowed to visit her home. My parents also refused to disclose her address.
You know your sister doesn't like you. I think it's better you don't bug her.
Your mom is right. Personally, we think it's better this way. We don't want you causing trouble for her.
I felt disappointed in my parents for supporting her mistreatment toward me, but I didn't complain. I stopped asking about her and simply let things go their own way. Shockingly, 4 months later, I came across my sister's page and saw that she was on a wheelchair. She was also in tears. According to her story, she'd gotten into an accident which almost claimed her life. She'd luckily survived, but would be needing surgery to help her walk again. She'd set up a GoFundMe, requesting help from people. I cried so much when I saw the video. My parents hadn't told me anything. I felt so abandoned and resolved to confront them when they returned home. You can imagine my shock when they walked into the house that night with my sister, who was looking completely fine. How are you walking well? In your video, you said you needed surgery to walk. What's going on?
Oh, shut up. If you dare say a word about this to anyone, I'll kill you myself.
I'm doing this to make Mom and Dad proud. I'm making them money. More than you'll ever make in your entire life.
If this information gets out of this house, I won't let your mother kill you. I'll do it myself.
I was scared, betrayed, shocked. I felt like a stranger to my own family. I promised not to say anything. However, just 3 days later, my sister released a video. She was crying even more. In the video, she told everyone how she'd gotten into another accident.
I caught my sister in bed with my boyfriend. I felt so hurt and betrayed. While I was driving away in tears, that's when the accident happened.
If I wasn't her sister, I would have believed. She sounded so real. Tears rolled down my eyes as I read the comments. Everyone was talking down on me. I was being called a hater, homewrecker, bad sister, among other vile names. I cried so much that I nearly passed out. The next day, calls began to come in from those at school who recognized her. It was so embarrassing and hurtful to hear everyone bashing me for my sister's lies. I couldn't even go to college anymore, out of fear. Everyone, both strangers and acquaintances, turned against me. That earned Stacy even more pity. She got more money from the public. I felt so bad because even my parents were in support of her actions. No one considered my feelings. Blogs soon began sharing the video. They tagged me different bad names and painted me so evil. Seeing all of that turned my feelings to pure rage. I was determined to get back at her. Firstly, with the money I'd been saving, I went to rent a comfortable apartment far from them without their idea. My aim was to get back at my sister. After another week, I was able to locate her house. I waited for the right time to strike. Luckily, it came after another week. That day, I overheard my parents talking about having dinner with my sister. Once she arrived, I left the house and rushed to hers. I'd figured out where she kept her spare key, so I took it and went in. I hid behind her couch and waited. She didn't return until 2 hours later. Once I heard her car drive in, I started a live video. Hi everyone. I'm Annie, Stacy's younger sister. I'm here to prove to you all that she's nothing but a faker and a liar. She didn't get into any accident. I'm at her house now, and I'm going to prove it to you all. More people tuned in. Soon, Stacy walked into the house and turned on the lights. I immediately came out of my hiding place and directed the camera to her. She froze in shock. Can you all see? She's hale and hearty. She's lying against me because she hates me. She's faking her condition to extort money from you all. Our parents are also in on it. It's their plan to make you all pity her and take your money. My sister screamed and tried to fight me to take the phone from me, but I refused to back off. I pushed her and dashed out of the house. After locking her in, I called the police. They swiftly came and she was arrested. The news immediately went viral. Everyone on the internet was supporting her arrest. They requested my bank account details to aid with sending her to jail, and I released it. With the money, I pressed charges against Stacy. She was charged with fraud, defamation of character, money extortion, and deceiving the public. That got her 15 years in jail. Some of those on the internet were present on the day of her trial. The money she got from them was going to be given back to the public. However, they refused and insisted that the money be given to me instead. I got so emotional and burst into tears. They all felt like they owed me after all the insults and curses they hurled at me, and that was the only way they could get my forgiveness. Meanwhile, the neighbors had heard about it and stormed my parents' house. They burnt down the house, and my parents had been dragged all the way to the police station after getting mercilessly beaten. They both got 10 years jail term each for being accomplices to their daughter's deceit. As the cops dragged them to the bus, people threw eggs, water, and curses on them. People took videos of them, which went viral too. My classmates from college called to apologize for what they said. With the money I got, I was able to finish college, attend a cooking academy, and establish my own restaurant. It's been 7 years, and I've managed to establish 3 more restaurants, all of which are doing incredibly well. I haven't heard about my family, and I haven't cared to check. I feel happier not knowing about them, and it will remain that way. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel.